Instant cameras. The last couple years, instant cameras and film cameras have kind of become all the rage. There's a spoon on my table. You see, just so y'all are aware, when you have kids, just be aware of when you start recording where things are. Sometimes you need to look to see what's around you before you start recording. But instant cameras and film cameras have become a very popular thing in the last couple years. And I think it's our digital age right now. Everything's so digital. Instant cameras, film cameras, which these are technically film cameras, right? They make you sit and think about your composition, about the photo you want to take. Do you have the right settings or anything like that? And film, more specifically, you're gonna have to look into that a lot more, right? You have to know where your ISO is. You're gonna have to know where your shutter speed is. You're gonna need to know all those different clues in order to try to get a good film image versus an instant camera. You just turn on, you click, you look at, you know, your dog that's sitting over there, and you take your photo, and it prints. Easy as that. Nothing else to do. All we got to do is take it, sit it down, and then we wait for that image to come out. Very simple. But do you need one? You've got digital cameras you use for everything. Why would you need something that can take photos like this? You see, for me, I wanted something that slowed me down, something that made me think about my shots. But there were other reasons I wanted to get this as well. You see, the cool thing is you kind of get this instant gratification with them. And what I mean by that is we take the photo and it basically prints instantly, and you just have to wait to see what it comes out and looks like. And depending on what kind of film it is, it could take you 30 seconds, it could take you a minute, but you don't have to wait too long. It's just fun to have something like this walk around. There's a few buttons on the back. This is the Fuji Instax Mini 90. They have a bunch of different versions, but there's some buttons on the back that do some different things. You have a macro mode, you have just some different menu buttons, timers, flash on, flash off. You have sports mode, a kid mode, in case your child's running around or anything like that. And you have like a mountain mode, portrait mode, all these different really cool things. And the great thing about it is anybody can use one of these. You don't have to hand them your digital camera and have all the settings ready and be like, all right, like, okay, let me back up. Now you can take the photo if they're taking it of you or whatever. You can hand this to anybody, turn it on, and just let them click the button. I let my 2-year-old walk around with this all the time. Now, does he take it and accidentally flash himself in the face all the time and get photos just like his eyeball or just, you know, this side of him? Yeah, all the time. Yes, and that can feel like a waste, but it goes into my next point. They make great memories. It's something tangible in your hand that you can give to anybody and hand it to them, and they're gonna remember that. So if you're a wedding photographer or you do a lot of portrait work or anything like that, having something like this in your bag might be a fun little thing to take with you that you could give to your client. You can like take all your other photos and say, okay, I'm just gonna take one of these really quick just for fun, take it to them, and that way they kind of have something to go home and remember the shoot with. Now it's gonna look a lot different than probably your digital edits, but that's okay because they're gonna remember the photographer who gave them this photo that they're gonna hang on their fridge. Or maybe you're shooting a wedding and you have this with you and you have a chance to take a photo of the bride and the groom really quick, and you can just take a couple of them while you're doing your digital work, right? You can have this around you or whatever it might be. You can take a couple photos of this, of the venue, whatever it is, and at the end of your wedding, you can just hand that to them just so they have something on their wedding night that might be very nice for them to have over the next couple days because they give a vintage look. A lot of these have this cool vintage look and feel to it. So it might be something important for them that they can have. And because of that vintage feel and aesthetic, it's gonna go to my last point, and that's you can use these to make great little photo albums. I'm gonna take a bunch of photos with this and put it in an album when I can just have everything digitally. Well, for me personally, I like having something in my hands that I can feel, right? Like that photo we just took of the dog. We can just see kind of how it looks. It's got this cool vintage feel. Now, obviously different cameras, the prints are gonna be different, whether you're using a Fuji Instax, whether you're using a Polaroid, or one of the other many instant cameras out there, or all the different films out there. There's plenty of those, but that's a completely different subject than instant cameras. But it just gives you something that, cool, I can have this book filled with memories that we can go through, whether that's in a couple days, whether that's in a year, 2 years, whatever it is. And you have these things you can open versus it being on your computer. And you sometimes on your computer, you almost never get to it. Yes, it's great to have everything stored on your computer, and you can take these, which is great, and you can scan them into your computer. Now, depending on what kind you get, some of these actually have a way where they print and it has a memory card in there. So you can get it printed, have it on your memory card, and keep the photos like that as well, which is great. This one does not do that. The Polaroids, some of them do. Fuji also has some that do that. But it's one of those things that, for me, it's just very nice, especially when you have young kids growing up that grow up so fast. You see them grow very quickly, especially from, you know, a baby all the way up to 4 or 5 years old, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger. In 6 months, you can look through that and be like, wow, look how much changed with them in 6 months, just because of having something like this. Plus, like I said, it's just a fun little thing. You can hand them for them to walk around and take photos and kind of see what they would take pictures of. For me, it'll be throw the date on the bottom right here, put these in a photo album, and then 5, 6 years from now, it'll be, oh, wow, remember that? That was cool. And now I'm not saying we want to have massive photo albums like all of us probably grew up with seeing, but you can at least have some that are going to be memories for you to look through over the next couple years, just by paying $70 for something fun. And some of these, they've got tripods on them, they've got flashes, you can do all sorts of different fun things with them. But for me, they're just a great way to just give things out to people as well, right? You go in a shop, you take a couple photos with this, you could leave them on the table, you can give them to whoever the person is you're taking a photo of, and they're gonna remember that. It's gonna brighten up somebody's day, they're gonna have some fun with it, you're gonna have some fun with it, and they're gonna remember you for that. And that's one of those things when it comes to photography, you want people to remember you and remember who you are, what your photography business is. And what better way than giving them some instant photos, because that is gonna make a mark. Now, if you're just taking photos, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I see people do that all the time. But when you can actually take a photo, give it to somebody right then and there, they're gonna remember you at the wedding, at the photo shoot, whatever it might be. They're gonna have something tangible in their hands right then and there. Now, there might be other reasons you think you should get one. Maybe you just, I don't know, wanna walk around and start trying film, but don't wanna get too deep into film, and you just want something like this, that could be a reason as well. But if you have other reasons, drop them down below, because I'd love to hear your reasons. And I know there wasn't a lot of B-roll, there wasn't a lot of exciting sequences in this video. Sometimes it's just nice to sit down, talk to the camera really quick, not have to plan a bunch of B-roll sequences to try to keep people's attention. Because sometimes those videos, they're too much, and they're trying to keep people's attention and just trying to be like, oh, well, this is why you need to do this, and they're trying to just get you to buy the product. I'm not trying to get you to buy the product. I'm just giving you my opinion of what I think about instant cameras and why I personally bought one and enjoy shooting with one. But that's all I've got. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, drop that thumbs down. Maybe I'll actually do like a full review, workup on this camera, even though I don't believe they sell it anymore. But I still could do something on, maybe throw some of that fancy B-roll in if that's what you want. I can do that. But sometimes I just like sitting and ranting to the camera for like 5 minutes and then being done with the video and being able to post it, because sometimes it's easier like that. And see how long I can keep people's attention just talking to the camera and, you know, trying some different things out. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. As always, if you got a second, hit that subscribe button, because we're so close to 1,000. But God bless. I will see y'all in the next one.